So I made like a video something about this and accidentally uploaded half of it and then didn't upload the other half because I wasn't planning on it yet. But might as well go all the way, right? It's like the USA government is the world's largest terrorist organization, and it's it's in violation of the laws that found the country. In so many ways, almost every government employee is has committed like just a random guess 20,000 crimes. 20,000 crimes. That's more than enough for them all to go to prison for several lifetimes. But they're not going to arrest themselves, right? The government's not going to arrest the cops. The cops aren't going to arrest the government. The teachers aren't going to arrest the cops. The cops aren't going to arrest the teachers. The doctors aren't going to arrest anyone because they're too weak. I mean, and besides, doctors are making the most money off of this system, so they're not going to kick the system ever. So they're guilty of so many crimes, like treason and terrorism, theft, genocide. Teachers are guilty of helping genocide propaganda spread. I remember in school they played me videos of how good it was to kill Arabs in tanks, and they literally took our money from us. They practically demanded we bring in money to pay to kill the Arabs. Literally, you can't make this stuff up. Who knows? Maybe I am right. Yeah, right. Anyone inside America knows that that's just. It's like, yeah, what are you complaining about? Like, it's everywhere. It's like, yeah, it's everywhere, isn't it? And like, the so-called parents force their kids to go to this genocide propaganda. The so-called teachers are the ones pushing it. The so-called principals are the ones monitoring it. The so-called psychiatrists are the one watching everyone and making sure that you hate the Arabs and you never turn against them. And basically you hate everyone. It's not just Arabs, but that's a good example because the continual genocide of the Arabs is more than enough to shut this nation down permanently. Or at least the people in it. A nation really doesn't matter. It's the people in it. Like, they want to blame Rothschild and they want to blame Illuminati government. But it's like, no, the people in it are the same people who keep moving from place to place. It's like everyone in it. And they get really scared. Like, that's why they get scared about talking about the truth. That's why they won't ever talk of it. It's not necessarily that they're brainwashed. Like, some of these people know more, like, are the ones who clued me in that I should look. Because I don't watch TV, like news and stuff. Like, why would I watch that? That sounds stupid. Like, I live in this, like, brain dead redneck. I don't even like calling it brain dead redneck town because my family, the smart half of my family, is from a farm. And they're smart people. Like, they had to know how to maintain miles of land and feed themselves and their family, literally feed themselves and their family, and miles of land, no one else is there to help them. It's all them. So these are smart people, but this city is like rednecks who were too drunk to perform farm work and move together to feed off one another or something. I don't know, it's weird, but it's like they're not like smart as city folks should be, and they're definitely like it's a fallacy that farmers are stupid people just because they don't know city folk stuff. But they're definitely not city folks here either. They don't know how to milk a cow, and they really don't know how to read a book. So what I see around here is like, might skew me somewhat and all that, but it's called like the heartland because it really is the heart of it. It's kind of like it's representative of everything that goes on. Hold on. Okay, so they're all guilty of so much stuff. Like, that's why they won't begin to call each other out, because they're all guilty of it. Even I'm guilty of a lot of this stuff, or have been until I made the correct adjustments. But there comes a point in your life where you kill so many people or rob so many people, apparently, that you like choose to be on that side permanently. You're like, well, there's no turning back now. I've made the mistakes, and might as well just keep pushing forward to keep killing people and keep enslaving and robbing everyone. And so I think that's what a lot of them do. I think that's how the empire is like developed. Even I wouldn't, the scum rises to the top, and then they control it, and then they just move to the next location after they burn the one down, turn it into a wasteland with dead nuke reactors. That's the whole reason you shouldn't be fighting for this place at all. I mean, because it's stupid to fight for criminals, but it makes you one of them when you fight for them. And then it's like, it's trash, and they know it's trash. So whether you want to accept that it's trash or not, eventually they designed it to be disposable. And there's probably nothing you can do unless you want to send the nuclear waste to the brown people's land. I mean, well, that's going to do while you fucking invading their land and you're saying it's yours. Okay. What's that really going to do? You're just going to send your own people invading the land, some nuclear wasteland to live on? No. Well, they will. I mean, it's not like they really care. They don't think this stuff through. They can. It's just like, it's like bloodlust that drives half this stuff. It's not the money lust. Sure, the rich doctors around here live in these fancy places. The lawyers, they live in these fancy places, and the wannabe redneck, whatever he does besides harass people and rob them and intimidate them, whatever he does, that's type people live here, right? And he probably like fakes like he runs a business or something. That's definitely not like a business owner or anything. Like a person who invented something. Like, you can run a McDonald's. It doesn't mean like you're better than the burger flipper. Hell, the burger chef is a more important position at a food place than the owner. More skilled, technical profession. I mean, if you're not just trash and not caring. But you have these people who are doing all this stuff for just weeks, months, years, decades, maybe even centuries. But we can prove for years, decades, that they've been doing that. Like, I was born into this system of demons, and it's like completely natural, all these people, like, to just be that way. That's how they were, that's how their parents were, and it's definitely how they are and how the TV told them to be. To be honest, I can't tell you anything about anyone 100 years ago. But, yeah, I mean, why would it be any different? What's new under the sun? But they're all guilty of these crimes, and they're all working with each other. And then if you get someone like me who has the balls to step out or speak out against them, like, they just want to kill you. They just want to enslave you and lock you up. So they've been doing that to me most of my life. And I never realized it's simply because I'm not part of their mold, and they just despise me for this reason or another. Maybe sometimes I did some stuff, but hell, I've never actually went anywhere over that. It's just breaking their mold is illegal, so they invent whatever laws they can. Like most of the cop interactions I have been cops inventing their own laws and lying and subverting people, trying to get me to, like, finding weed on me when I was a kid, and then, like, trying to make me say it was my black friend so they could take him to jail for it, and then throwing it out when they found out it's mine, as if it mattered whose it was. So it's of course, robbery too. I've been robbed of hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars in general damages. At the end of the day, cars have been magically disappeared, filled with like these awesome stereo systems and who knows what else. I can't even remember. Like back in the day, we had to buy these things called CDs. Music came on them. There was like these circle things, and before that, there was these square things, rectangle things called cassettes. There's those too. Might have had a couple of those. And then like, so when they steal your car, they steal like maybe $10,000, $20,000 in music, and other stuff like more expensive than jewelry. Some of these, like if you had enough of these CDs, you definitely had more than jewelry on you. They'll steal everything. They'll just find a way to rape you if you ever, like, even let them know you exist. See alone, like a good way to let them know you exist is, like, pointing them out and be like, hey, look, you're a criminal. It's time for you to go to prison. It's time for you to go to Gitmo. It's time for you to face capital charges and a guillotine. And, like, then, of course, you become more of an important person than the average slave who's like, oh, yes, master, we can kill them all. Master, just don't hurt me again, master. Here, take some money, master. Protection fees, master. It's like, nah, I don't do that very well. I've never done that. I'm like a retard. Like, I just can't do it. Like, you have all these martial arts people on YouTube, almost all of them have this white Western mindset that you just give up all your stuff instantly and like, oh, please don't hit me and have everything I own. It's like, why did I waste my time learning self-defense, dude? You are a coward at best. But I'm definitely not a self-defense instructor, because the whole point of training self-defense is to learn to deal with scumbags, like not to run away. Like I already knew how to run away from a scumbag. Like hopefully you learn that, right? Or you learn how to get hit and then you're a fighter, because it doesn't hurt to get hit anymore after you get hit like 7,000 times by the bully. So I'm a little different. I'm like, you went again in my head. Like, here, why don't you like shoot me before I like grab your fingers and break them, and then you can't shoot me anymore. And they'll be like, oh, I got a gun. And I'm like, oh, you gonna shoot me, dude? Like, I like get up in the gun and get up in the robber's seat, be like, hey, hey, you should shoot me. I'm about to kill you. And then be like, like that's who I am. I'm just like, whatever. Like, you never know what I could do. I shouldn't guarantee I should act that way. I try to be really calm, because these savages in this nation, these so-called good democratic people, are just extreme savages. And I've faced self-defense charges. Unlike these other posers out here who aren't really fucking martial artists, don't even know where their stuff comes from or anything about it. They're just trying to sell you a gym. Trust me, most of these people I'm seeing are trying to sell you a gym plan and a workout plan. It's just the fitness industry. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the same thing. He used steroids and he told you working hard was the way to get to where he was. Like, no, it wasn't. And he also didn't tell you that taking steroids gives you a drive, so you work harder, because you're just like, steroid. Stay like it's more than just meathead stuff. It changes who you are. And then estrogen, I suppose, makes you docile and sit around a little bit, maybe gain a little more fat than usual. It's odd how I can tie all this stuff in together, and it's just there and blatant. But that's like kind of like a Western thing here too. This is like a USA thing to be like, self-defense, and be like, oh, you want to rob me? Oh God, don't hurt me. It's like, what was the point of all that self-defense? Just learning how to punch people in the face? No, you gotta fight these people back. Like I can sit there and tell you to defend yourself all day, but it doesn't matter if like it comes down to it and you never do, and you just wasted your time, man. Just wasted your time. So fighting these people back is important, because they're scum. Like, the whole system is scums with smiles. Scum in suits. It's like they put on a suit and a smile, and you're like, yeah, I love them. And he's like, yeah, I love money. And you're like, yeah, money and suits and smiles. And everyone's like, yeah. And it's not really like that. It's like, it's all deceptive. It's very deceptive. Like, even the act of saying hello is so you see if they got a gun in someone's hand. Like, you aren't supposed to be wearing a suit and smiling to deceive people, but that's kind of what it is. It's kind of like that's exactly what the suit is used for, to tell people. The outfit you wear tells people who you are, so they can know if you're better than them and they should worship you or not. Do you have on the robe of a priest? Then let's worship you. Do you have on a lab coat? Oh, then I should listen to you. Do you just have on? Are you smart enough that you only spend $5 on an outfit that looks okay, but might not look like a $20,000 outfit because you'd rather have a house or a life, and you could spend that $20,000 on a car rather than looking like you want to manipulate someone's mind, which is the whole purpose of these suits and outfits, except for like a lab coat. A lab coat kind of is so you can protect yourself from chemical splatters and stuff, just like a painter's smock is the same thing. But a cop's uniform isn't there to like protect him from blood splatters when he kills you for jaywalking or smoking weed or opium or whatever. He kills whatever his excuse was to kill you for. It's just a sign of worship. It's like a priest. He isn't wearing a suit to protect him from blood splatter of the demons he's killing. You gotta be able to have this good washable suit so I can wash all that demon blood out. No, it's just a way to trick your mind. Be like, ooh, it looks so nice, so good. And that's the way the empire looks on the outside. And it's funny because I totally just walk through these people's minds like it's nothing. Like they're little pieces of Legos I'm interconnecting. And I forget it sometimes that I've got to. Like, I'm forced to. I don't want to manipulate people. But you have to, because their tiny minds can't operate in the world without control levers to tell their tiny minds what to do and what to think. They might go rage. You like, I'll kill you. Why are you dressing like you're a nigger? I hate you. Pull them pants up. I'm going to shoot you now. Sprinkle crack on you later. And it's really like, it doesn't matter if you're black, but it really matters if you're not looking like one of these white preppy motherfuckers. It does like matter if you're black, but what matters the most is just looking like a white preppy motherfucker. You can look like or talk like anything else. Like I talk like I talk, and I think sometimes it sounds like the traditional Southern redneck shit, which is just where blacks got their fucking Ebonics speak from. Like, they sound just like some inbred rednecks to me. Like, I don't see how you're making fun of that shit. But I talk like that up in the north, and they hate that because they're like, that's nigger talk, basically. And so I get treated like I got black skin. And at the same time, I got long hair, and I don't talk like a faggot. And people are like, oh my God, you said faggot. Yeah, he said a word. He said one of the big words. It hurts my little penis. So you've got to manipulate these motherfuckers' mind because they won't have it any other way. They'll kill you sometimes if you don't. Literally, they got this place called jail and they'll enslave you. They got these things called police with guns and they'll shoot you. And it's not just them. It's the people around here, the people in this place. They will come for you like pitchforks and burning torches. You are a witch if you simply try to step out of line. And stepping out of line is pointing out the fact that they might be killing people. They don't care about killing people as long as you don't kill them. If they're profiting off you killing people, then they have so much to gain. Why are you such an evil person? You want people to stop profiting off killing people. You are a demon trying to take away the profits of the land. That is their general attitude. But if you turn around and you just face them with reality, first of all, you better know how to fight. It took a long time for me to be able to talk out loud in this nation, because when I'm only like 4 years old and that big, anyone can and will kick you in the mouth, throw you to the side, drug you. They literally drug you, lock you up. So when you like, if you're like a 4-year-old watching this, shh, be calm right now. You know, if you're a skinny 110-pound person, shh, be calm, man. But I mean, do what you want. Really, do what you want. But you'll learn real fast. Either way, you'll get over that. You'll get over that foot tall syndrome or that 110-pound syndrome, and you'll learn how to deal with it after that. You'll toughen up. Or you'll break, or you'll completely break. One of the two. They do rely on completely breaking people. I want to say some people around me are broken, but that gives them a way out. You know, like they're like, well, I'm broken. It's like, I don't know. Like, I think so, but it doesn't really matter if you got a nation full of broken people or willing psychopaths. If they're broken and flopping on psychopathy syndrome, it's still like, we should, like, not allow that to happen. Get them a rubber room or something. See, the odd thing is the whole system is based upon, if you think, if you're not a murderer or a killer and a slaver, for bad reasons. Like, I can't argue with God. The Creator instilled death into the world, and He has shown me several times that it exists for something, although He doesn't talk, and He's not your monkey. He doesn't do backflips and tell you everything you want to know. It's kind of like a game to Him or something. But that seems to be created for a reason, so I can't argue that every time that happens it's a bad thing. But if you want to do this stuff for just greed and because you're a murderer and stuff, then that's a whole different ball game. And that's what most of these people are doing. And you can see it when I confront some of them. They really do show their wickedness. And I have so much more of the confrontation on video. And I never used to view it as that, so maybe in the past I seen even more and I didn't really fucking see that happening. But I've seen this my whole life, and they know what they're doing. Like, I'm the last person to figure it out because I didn't play their games, I didn't participate, so I didn't know everything that was going on. But they're all guilty of mass crimes. Like, just mass crimes. We can put them all away forever, ever. The only problem we have with getting these people straightened out is getting a few men good enough to fucking drag them to the holding cells they need to be put in. And a few million holding cells that aren't ran by them. And then from there, people will change. Like, their families will still be left alive, and those bloodlines, that DNA might be very infected, and it might be very infectious to a civilized society to allow them to run. And we can see in history what happens when you try to cleanse a population, or straighten out, adjust it, however you want to see it. Then they just run off and they're like, oh, we've changed, and then 90 years later they're right back up to their same global plans they were on before. And so there clearly has to be a final end put to these people having any sort of power, because they keep lying. They're like, oh yeah, I'm so good now, and then in secret they're like, yeah, we're gonna get them. So we gotta figure out how to do that. That's really the only thing anyone needs to be working on, is rounding these people up. They're not going to magically start arresting themselves or advertise themselves as candidates, or watch, I'll bait these people some more. And they haven't talked about me yet. When are they going to talk about me? They're going to talk about everyone else. I've been doing this for how long now, getting in their faces and everything. Literally, some of them have quit their jobs, but that does no good if no one knows who's behind the cleanup happening. Jesus, I'm cleaning it up and I'm not even part of it. That's how easy it is. Just simply, they will scurry off, and the problem is catching them as they scurry off rather than letting them scurry off, because this is the trick. This is actually part of their plan. When the Templars were arrested and charged for working with global bankers to steal gold, then they scurried off. That was that. And probably some of the same people still in control today. The enforcers are probably the Templars, and we know who the bankers are. So the police and the government agents, those are probably the same Templars who scurried off in the past. And then before that, about the same thing would happen in a nation. Nations would get looted and they would scurry out the back door. And, Egypt would get looted and they would scurry out the back door. The Pharisees would scurry out the back door, and then they would get caught, and then they would try to fight back and scurry out the back door. And then in Germany, they tried to scurry out the back door. And they did that because I think they were working with Hitler. So I don't see why not. If nothing's changed, then Donald Trump is Hitler, and Donald Trump is one of them. So you can't really logically look at it any other way. You can't be like, oh, well, one time I think things were different. And it's like, oh, I've never seen it different. But one time it was possible things was different. The people who keep lying to me told me it was different one time, so I believe it was different one time. So listen to that argument as many times as you need to. Put it on rewind there and listen to it over and over, and let me know how that turns out for you. It's real simple, but sometimes you just got to hear shit several times to understand. You gotta beat it in. So these people are guilty on so many levels of so many crimes. It's like genocide, drugging, robbery, slavery, extortion, blackmail, treason, terrorism. Dude, these government agents are guilty of just a small fraction of the crimes. If you could expect a small fraction to stick, then they are guilty, but they're already guilty. It doesn't matter what they're going to do. Go to a corrupt judge, and a corrupt judge be like, we are not guilty, and the judge will be like, yes, thank you for ruling I am not guilty, and the corrupt judge would just talk to himself again and go, well, it was a fair trial. It was really hard to decide if I was guilty or not. Yes, Judge, I understand. It was really close, but we was not guilty. Let's ask the police. Hey, police, should you arrest yourself? They'd be like, how many times have they been confronted, basically with the same accusations that they should arrest themselves? And it's not an accusation, and it's not a should. It's if they were following the law, they would all arrest themselves, but they're not. They're all bullies. They're all thugs. They're all killers. Some of them, aren't. There's a couple little guys I notice in this system who aren't really killers, but they just want to be part of the boys. But I think the rest of them are pretty well jacked up on steroids and HGH to the point where their brains are probably gone and they're probably super fucked. Because once you guys who don't take these drugs don't know this because they never talk about it. But you start taking these roids and HGH, which all these soldiers and cops do, and it changes you mentally. That's how they have the transgender thing, and they push it. Is really changing people because it really changes the people. It makes them aggressive, psychotic killers, a little more amped up, a little more motivated. There are positive effects to it, but it's, trust me, it's not. And they completely, like, part of them hiding it is their ability to think that they should hide that, because it's like, maybe that's not a good trait. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that. Maybe we shouldn't talk about our secret is we take this drug and it makes us active, so we work 18 hours a day. And it's like meth wears you out, but steroids just energizes you. I don't know anything about meth, but I know apparently you take meth, coke, and then there's like caffeine, coke, meth, and it's kind of like people relate them in a way that you would, like, lesser, medium, full blast. And so I include steroids as right up there, probably with meth. But that's like an energy level you get from meth. You do get the energy from your natural testosterone, or introduce testosterone, or increase testosterone, free testosterone levels. There's all sorts of ways you can attack chemical structures, alter them. So there's different methods. There's not just one way to go about steroids or anything like that. That's why they also lift along with it, because they try to force their body to tear and then try to produce them their own. So that is making them more aggressive and like psychotic, and they're kind of like unfit to do their jobs when they're military and cops who are like on drugs that make them psychotic. And it really does. Never trust people on steroids. They are almost all lying. Almost all of them lie and say they aren't on steroids. That's the first sign that's a complete liar, and they're really scared. This is another reason why they hide it. Like, people smoke weed, just be like, I smoke weed. And people drink alcohol, be like, I drink alcohol. People do other drugs, just be like, I do some acid. But people do steroids, you never hear them say. Even Arnold, the world's most famous steroid user, has never used steroids, supposedly. And it's like every other famous steroid user has never used steroids, except for Rich Piana. And, of course, that other guy, along with Rich Piana, I forget his name, but Boston Lloyd. So no one's ever done steroids except for them. But that's because the drug relates to your brain in ways that makes you a liar and criminal and aggressive and angry and psychotic. It really does. Like, you guys don't understand until you've touched something what it is. Like, all this talk of this drug does this drug does that. First of all, it can do different things for different people, but you never really know what someone's saying something does until you take it. If you say alcohol messes you up, if you've taken alcohol, you relate messed up with alcohol, but nothing really, something might come close, but not too many things. Like several chemical structures will alter you in that way, but really you will